The Dodgers transferred Max Muncy to the 60-day injured list this week, conceding that, hey, yeah, the third baseman, he's going to be out for at least a month, if not longer, with that nagging oblique injury. And it's one of those situations where, like, hey, bro, take my oblique, please. Sadly, reality doesn't work that way. So instead, today, we're going to be talking about the black hole left at third base, kind of addressing some trade options for this team. Another thing, the Dodgers also kind of touched on their trade planning in the wake their trade thinking in the wake of the loss of Max Muncy and the loss of more so Mookie Betts and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So how active will this team be at the trade deadline, and how much does Max Muncy's continued struggle with injury affect the Dodgers trade deadline plan? There are some names you're going to love. There are some names you're absolutely going to hate here on another edition of the All Dodgers podcast. Now, before we get into the action, I got to tell you that BetOnline is your number one source for all of your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, you got golf, you got soccer, all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing, every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while games and matches are being played. So when the game's over, if you haven't had any luck there, head on over to their online casino, get in on a game of poker, get in on a game of blackjack, unwind with over 150 slot games at BetOnline. Head to the website today, get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV. Use that promo code, you get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So with that all out of the way, my name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media platforms. That is producer Kevin Skinner at Skinner7Kevin on the X. And today we are talking about the Max Muncy situation. Yes, placed on the 60-day IL, as I already said at the top of the video there, not eligible to return until after the All-Star break. Reality of this is it changes some things, but it kind of doesn't change much of anything. What's the immediate reaction from you on the Max Muncy situation?
They just kind of confirmed out loud what we all were suspicious about. We'll get into the Max Muncy quote later, but even leading up to that quote, the news wasn't good. He tried swinging, they shut him down. He was doing some some drills on the infield, shut down again. So they just kind of confirmed that this is a bigger issue than they initially let on, and they continue to confirm that either Dave Roberts knows absolutely nothing about what's going on with his players, or he's lying through his teeth.
A little column A, a little of column B.
I love Dave, by the way.
I think so. We're gonna play the clip here. I'll throw the clip on, but Muncy was on with David Vassay, AM 570, LA Sports Radio earlier this week, and with Muncy, he's usually somebody that's. I think he can lean positive. I think he could spin positive better than most. I mean, we had all endured the elbow situation where he knew he was down, but he still was like, I guess that was a little bit of gamesmanship, going into that 2021 postseason where his elbow was very clearly completely shredded and not going to be useful to him, hitting or playing or anything like that. But let's listen to Max here real quick, and then we'll kind of digest that and continue on the situation.
Where are we in this process to maybe see Max Muncy back?
Not entirely sure. Things just aren't rebounding as well as we've been wanting them to, and we're trying to slow play it and just make sure that we're good to go 100%. That way we don't have any setbacks, we don't have any lingering effects, and it's just it's taking longer than any of us expected, especially considering it was something that at the beginning we thought might not even have to go on the IL for, and it's just it hasn't gone away, and it's been extremely frustrating for me and everyone involved. We've been trying to do everything that we can, and For me, that could be something along the lines of I've been trying to do too much. You know me, I fight through a lot of stuff, and I've been trying as hard as I can to get back, and that could be something that's not allowing me to bounce back as fresh as that I'm maybe doing too much. But it's, we're doing what we can. We don't know what the timetable is yet, but we're hoping we'll be out there at some point.
So there's Muncy. Again, not a whole lot of positive. I kind of agree with his assessment, saying maybe they're doing a little too much right now. Maybe he needs to just be sitting his ass on the couch with a beer in hand, bag of popcorn, watching his team instead of trying to maintain some sort of game shape when you're trying to rest soft tissue injury. But the important thing is it's not good for the team, and it's more bad news that just seems to be plaguing this team, particularly the last week and a half. You lost Mookie Betts, lost Yoshinobu Yamamoto, of course, broken hand, and then rotator cuff strain that we still know very, very little about the Yamamoto situation. But suddenly, it seems like this team might need to be pretty active at the trade deadline. There's still maybe some issues in the outfield. We'll talk about that in a second. Definitely some issues on the infield with Mookie gone, with Muncy. If he's gone for an extended period of time, if he can't even come back, you're in a real world of hurt. And Yamamoto, we don't want to talk too much about pitching in this version of the show or whatever, this particular video, so stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you want us to talk about Yamamoto and the pitching situation a little bit later. But Kevin, you saw couple, I think it was about a week, or not less than a week ago, earlier this week, Dodgers GM Brandon Gomes addressed the team's thinking following the Mookie Betts and Yamamoto injuries, saying he doesn't think it meaningfully changes anything at that point. Their expectation is the guys are going to be back for the postseason, the guys being Mookie and Yamamoto. How do you read it? Is this Gomer saying they're going to be as active as they originally planned, that they're not going to read and overreact to the recent injuries, that they're not panicking? Is that how you're kind of spinning this?
Yeah, and I actually think he said that with the Max Muncy injury in mind. Because nothing about the Mookie Betts injury indicates he won't be back by the postseason. Yamamoto, it could spiral into he's not back by the postseason, and the same with Muncy. So I actually think he's talking specifically about Muncy and Yamamoto. And yeah, I think this is an organization that has a plan A, B, and C. We've seen all three of them happen at some points, and some are uglier than others. Thank you, Lance Lynn. Ooh. But they have plans. They've already assessed what is currently happening, and then they'll assess again, and then they'll make a proper, they'll execute a plan at that point. This is just not a knee-jerk reaction team organization at all. So
I mean, I think we also saw that from the organization last year, particularly when when Gavin Lux went down with a knee injury. Andrew Friedman at Camelback Ranch held a kind of impromptu scrum there on the grounds and kind of said, we're not really going to go out and get anybody. We trust our guys in house, and importantly, they have time to kind of let the situation develop, see what real needs arise for the team. And right now we're 5+ weeks, just a little over 5+ weeks away from the trade deadline. So we can kind of see, hey, where is Max Muncy in 1 month from now, in 3-4 weeks from now? Can he start to maybe swing into cage? But then you start worrying about pushing him too early, and that's where you create that issue. That's where you manufacture the issue of, oh shit, this guy might not be back for the postseason, or he might not have enough time to kind of get ready and get his body going in time to be a real asset for the team in the postseason. He's always a professional at bat, but you need Max Muncy, the maximum amount of Muncy before you get back. So where do we think this team needs the most help right now? Because we've done a couple of these. We've done some live streams where I think we were both really, really focused in on the outfield. To me, now it's starting to read like they need more infield help. Outfield's kind of sorting itself out. Teoscar Hernandez is him. Pages has been really good in June, and since a few days into the month of May, I think he's hitting 321 since May 28th, the 905 OPS. Jason Hayward has been really good, posting a 132 weighted runs created plus. And that platoon is working with Miguel Vargas, depending on what they decide to do with Miggy Vargas. And CT3, give him his flowers. He's kind of figuring some things out. To me, I don't know. The outfield doesn't seem as bad. How are you feeling about the outfield at this situation? I know you still want a guy.
Yeah, I still want a guy. I think Teoscar and Andy Pages could still be a suitable, plug and play every day. That's fine. They can do their thing. Pages has made that kind of adjustment that you need to see from a rookie to say, okay, we can give you an even longer leash. And it's not even me. I would be fine with just a platoon of Vargas and Hayward, but the organization doesn't seem super inclined to let Vargas be even a platoon guy. They pull him pretty quick as soon as a right-handed pitcher comes out. They don't trust his defense. So with that in mind, I think they still need outfield help. And really what they do desperately need is a bench bat. When your right-handed option is, Chris Taylor or Kike off the bench or Austin Barnes, because he's still a bench bat technically, against a left-handed batter or pitcher, that doesn't instill a lot of confidence in fans, or probably not for the team. So I just think it's easiest to acquire an outfielder that can be a good bench bat, as opposed to looking for potentially an everyday infielder, and you still have a pretty weak bench at that point. I still think the outfield, to sum it all up, I think the outfield is still the more pressing need. However, if Max Muncy is out and potentially not going to be back by October, I tweeted this out, third base immediately becomes this team's biggest need, and it's really not that close.
Yeah, like I said earlier here in the show, it's very much been a black hole, third base, since Muncy's been down. You got the Dodgers third baseman hitting around 150 since Muncy has been down. It's a problem. Even the defense hasn't been exemplary over there. It has not been a shining light. Like, for all the strides that Max Muncy has made as a third baseman or whatever, you'd expect the next guy to come in behind him to be arguably somebody that's Gold Glove caliber. The only option they really have is Miguel Rojas, who, we'll talk more about it on a stream later or early next week. But maybe with Miggy Rowe, it might be a little bit better to see him a little less. I think he's getting a little exposed, maybe, as he's playing a lot more, just better in small doses. It's like moving in with somebody and you're finding out all about their annoying tics or something like that. We're seeing now the best and the worst of Miggy Rowe. But you mentioned that the bench. Bench is definitely a problem. Like, the only guy I have any confidence in right now coming off the bench is Jason Hayward, and for the greater part, he's going to be in the starting lineup against right-handed starting pitchers. Kike Hernandez, in my opinion, is the biggest problem on this roster right now, on this team. With all due respect to Kevin Biggio, he doesn't have the love affair with Dave Roberts and all of that, so they would have no reason or no issue jettisoning Kevin Biggio. But if it's Kike, there's kind of a problem. Anyways, so there's like some of those outfield options. But yeah, I agree. If Muncy is going to be out, that's a major concern. That is a massive concern. And I know you got some names to rattle off. Let's hear some names, and then let's kind of, find some realistic trade targets for this team.
Okay. So the first one, realistically, we know he's going to be likely traded this deadline, is Alex Bregman. You have to get past the 2017 Astros thing. The organization has definitely, we saw, it was last year. I can't remember his name. He showed up for like 2 weeks and they let him go because he couldn't hit his way out of a wet paper bag.
Wait, on the Dodgers?
Yeah, from the 2017 Astros team.
Oh, Jake Marisnick?
Jake Marisnick, yeah.
Well, I think he immediately hurt himself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he couldn't hit anyway.
But
Bregman's having a decent year, 716 OPS, 105 WRC plus. He still plays a really good defensive third base, so you like that. The other thing you like is he's been in the postseason, which this team will be. So having that experience will help. I don't know if fans could get by that, get
guys,
past that.
Drop into the comments right now. Give us some vitriol about Alex Bregman. How would you feel about the Dodgers potentially trading for Alex Bregman? Like, do we get over something that happened? What are we at? 6, 7, 8, 7 years ago now, something like that. Where we don't know. We don't know if Bregman was part of the trash cans and all of that. I don't know that I don't. I feel like now more than ever, I'm kind of not now more than ever, but I feel less inclined now than I did a year ago to welcome a 2017 Astro to the team. But I'm curious to see how fans think about that.
Yeah. Another player, again, if they just want to dumpster dive a little bit, Evan Longoria is still a free agent. He had a 719 OPS and 92 WRC plus last year with the Diamondbacks. He's average defensively. He played okay for the Diamondbacks. I don't even think he played that much third base for the Diamondbacks last year. I think he mostly DH'd. He did have a 116 WRC plus in 2022 and a 123 in 2021. So he's not so far removed from, positive offensive production. They wouldn't have to give anything. They just have to give him a check. This team has no issue doing that. And it could be very much just, again, another bridge guy.
Yeah.
Kevin Biggio hasn't really shown that he can do it as of late. Get him, DFA him, bring Longo on. He's, a veteran presence. Dodgers love that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
he fits that mold.
I was gonna say the thing I like the most about Longoria is the veteran presence. The thing I dislike the most about Longoria is that he hasn't played organized ball this year, right?
Yeah, no, he has not. He is not. He announced to the Diamondbacks that he was retiring, but then wasn't so sure about it. So he's still technically a free agent as of right now.
Okay. Yeah, even with that, you still probably got 3-4 weeks before he's ready to play. He's older, maybe even more, before he's ready to play meaningful third base. So I might be a little more out on Longo. Would be nice for him to come home though.
The other one that this isn't an everyday option at third base, but it is an option at third base. So Dodgers could swing a trade for JT. Blue Jays are kind of out of it right now. He's on an expiring contract, so he'll be cheap. Trade capital wise, he's played literally 5 games at third base, I think, this year. So he's not an everyday option. He has a 693 OPS with 103 WRC plus. His real upside is that he fills in that bench role. He's got an 810 OPS and a 129 WRC plus against left-handed pitching, so he can kind of be that hitman that everybody likes. The one thing I kind of really like about JT is he's a really good bridge option because they don't need him to play third base every day. Just some of the time. You could even primarily have Kike there and then put JT in against left-handed, or you can have JT against some right-handed pitching and Kike against left-handed pitching. And then when Max comes back, if he's coming back, they're not going to want to run Max out there, 5 of 6 games. They'll ease up on him. So having someone like JT to then facilitate that, Max, you're going to get right-handed pitching that'll put you in 3-4 times a week. JT's going to get 2 of the games against left-handed pitching. I think that creates a natural platoon right there, and obviously the Dodgers have no issue bringing JT back.
Yeah, a Justin Turner reunion, I think that's fun. That's another one. You guys sound off. How would you feel about Justin Turner coming back to the Dodgers? One thing you really love about the JT idea, outside of you get to right some wrongs that happened a couple years ago. I agree with the Dodgers letting him walk. I think it was time. But at the same time, this is somebody that should have retired in Dodger blue. He just wanted to go out and still try to remain a starting player, starting position player. The Dodgers didn't have that option available for him, so they went the other route and got themselves a, marquee slugger in JD Martinez. But the thing you gotta love about JT's addition, potential addition to this lineup, is that he's crushing lefties this year. 294, posting that 810 OPS. I mean, it's a small sample size, but not really. 51 at bats, but he can do that. He can kind of settle into that role. With Muncy, they were sort of platooning him slightly, anyways.
I think that had a little bit to do with the need to get Kike's bat in the lineup because they kind of promised him.
What bat?
I know.
What
the
bat?
little. But the one thing that could be nice is this is similar to a Kike situation. They let Kike go because he wanted to be an everyday guy.
Fair.
They brought him back when it kind of just didn't work out for him. JT's similar. He wanted to be an everyday guy. He kind of got that run in Boston. Hasn't really worked out too well for the Blue Jays. I mean, he's been average, but that Blue Jays offense is flailing.
Yeah.
Bring him back with him knowing he's not the everyday guy he used to be, which is fine. He's, he aged like fine wine until he didn't. And he can now be a role player, but arguably the role player with the most voice a role player could put since Albert Pujols could have ever had.
Yeah. Hey, number 10 is still available here in LA. It will perpetually be available, of course. But I think with the Blue Jays, they have some options. I think you would rather hear, or people are probably going to clamor more in the comments for somebody like Bo Bichette, but
why not both?
Why not both? One thing I really love about the JT thing, and outside of righting wrongs and maybe sending him off, he is 40 this coming November. So he said he wanted to play until he was 40, into his 40s. I don't know how much more he has left, much more game he has left in him, but
give him a ride.
Give him a ride. Give him one last ride. Hopefully, World Series, one he could actually celebrate, one he could actually play in. Ideally,
not get tackled by security.
But he's also, I don't know how much second base he's played this year, but he's played a lot of 2B in his career, and it's not I'm not unveiling, I'm not revealing a trade secret here when I say that Gavin Lux is another part of the problem on the infield. He's healthy, he's playing a really good defensive second base, but I'm retracting all of the positive things I was saying about Lux over the last couple of weeks. Fourth worst rated weighted runs created plus at 56, fourth worst among players with at least 200 at bats. He's unplayable offensively. We were talking about it yesterday that he just does not have a good swing. It's a long swing. He looks like he's swinging a bat that's double the amount of weight that he should be swinging. You could see where the neck injuries have happened for him. He's kind of flailing. His helmet's always flying off. It's not a very good swing. It's not a smooth swing. I don't know what he's trying to generate, if he's trying to generate power, what's wrong with him, but if you can get JT some options, some opportunities at second base as well after Muncy comes back, find that way. I like Justin Turner. I like it because it almost be like, how old was Chase Utley when he came to the Dodgers, and he played an important role. He was 36, but he played an important role for this team for a while, and
he hasn't played any second base this year, so he only played second base last year. He's been primarily DHing. He's 50 games there. He has 8 games at first base, but Freddie's not going anywhere. And he's got literally, like I said, 5 games at third base. I have several more names, but in the interest of time, I'd like to end on one fun one that I also get to just kind of twist the knife a little bit into an organization that I just cannot stand. Why not trade for Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies? They already let one third baseman go and paid for him to leave. Why not send him Los Angeles way? He's got 3 more years of team control through his age 32 season. He'd be due $12 million in 25, 16 and 26, 16 and 27. He's got an 819 OPS with a 116 WRC plus this year. I looked it up. He's got an 854 OPS and a 140 WRC plus away from Coors this year. Normally he is a below average bat, so this is kind of like an aberration for him. But he is, the results are the results, and we've seen what he can do defensively at third base. He's one of, if not the best defensive third baseman right now. So why not just?
I love it. But if the Rockies didn't want to trade with the Dodgers in the Arenado deal, even though they would have got a better deal than they got from the St. Louis Cardinals,
it's the Rockies. They make no sense.
Dick Montfort needs to sell the team.
Sell the team. Just one last hurrah before he inevitably sells the team. Just give us Ryan McMahon, and then we'll give you,
I like it, man. I really like the McMahon idea because he could also play second base, and the same thing with Justin Turner, where I'm talking about this team. If you do get lucky, you do get Muncy back, you get Mookie Betts back, you plug him in at shortstop because it feels like that's what their plan is going to be when he does eventually come back, and maybe that rest will help him when he gets back at shortstop. But second base also then. Black hole.
I lied then, just to get us to an even 5.
I like
5 being an odd number, and because you like the idea of potentially moving Gavin Lux away from second base, which I think is going to end up happening anyway. Josh Smith, the third baseman for the Rangers, he's actually a utility infielder. He's been playing 3B because Josh Young is hurt. He's been dealing with a fractured wrist, could be coming back soon. The Texas Rangers, if you didn't know, their infield is locked up forever. They have Marcus Semien at second base. They have my one and only love, Corey Seager, at shortstop. Josh Young is in pre-arb right now, so he'll be there for a while. Unless they want to trade him, which I'm also fine with, by the way. But Josh Smith is arb eligible next year, so he would cost a pretty penny. He's 26 years old with an 842 OPS, 142 WRC plus. The underlying stuff on Baseball Savant doesn't love him. However, he doesn't strike out. He walks a lot, so you love that batting profile, at least for the Dodgers. He has played some shortstop, but the numbers prefer him at 3B. He's also played some second, but again, when they signed Semien, he moved to third because that was the one spot in the organization that they weren't sure about. So, he's somebody that has some real interest because the Rangers, again, they're out of it. There's a logjam in the infield. They don't really need this kid. They could pick between Young or Smith, honestly, and take either one.
I'll say the Rangers are out of it because they've been decimated by injuries. They're a team that very much needs some help, and particularly in the starting rotation. And even though we're talking about not knowing the future of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the Dodgers still have some starting pitching options that team could plug in right away. We saw one on, what was it, Friday night. Landon Knack is somebody that could headline a deal to bring somebody like a Josh Smith, and hey, it's a good time for this kid to have a breakout year. That really seems like a win-win for both organizations. If it was like a one-for-one situation, but knowing, I mean, that they both have a fair amount of team control. Maybe it is a 1-1. I don't know. I like those. I like all of these guys, 5 guys that Mr. Kevin has thrown your guys' way. Who do you like the most? I mean, for me, it's McMahon.
I love the idea.
He's not going to be an option just because Rockies bad.
They make
Rangers,
no sense.
though.
Just do it.
And the Rangers have I think they're friendly enough. The Dodgers and Rangers are friendly enough with each other. Just have
they owe us for
Kershaw.
Adrian Beltre anyway, and Corey Seager. So
this is fair. But have Kershaw call up Chris Young. Hey GM, let's go. Let's make this deal happen, and then I'll come to you next year or whatever.
How about that? Is Kershaw calls him up. After he wins his World Series, he goes, "Look, I'll be your pitching coach if you swing the Josh Smith trade to the Dodgers."
Well, there are your options so far, and that's with the idea of maybe Max Muncy could miss a significant amount of time, more than just the next month, where he will be eligible to return from the injured list. We don't really know the situation for Max Muncy at this point, and again, it also gives them some what does Dave Roberts love? Optionality, and it gives them optionality at second base, all around the infield. With some of those guys, maybe not Evan Longoria, but some of those guys, you have some all around the diamond options. But that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you guys tubing in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed what we had to say here, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. It would really help out the channel. It'd mean a lot to Kevin. Like he stays up at night worried about getting to 7K. All right, I think.
I didn't sleep last night.
Attaboy. But anyways, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you haven't. Got to thank our Patreon and YouTube members, supporters for helping support the channel. You guys do a lot for independent creators here on YouTube. That's what we're doing. We're not backed by anybody. We got no money coming into this. It's all about you guys helping support and us giving you as much content as we can. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Check them out. That is at Skinner7Kevin on X. Hey, congrats. You got over 100 followers now.
I did. Let's go. So give him a follow. Let's get him to 200 right away. I'm RealFRG on Twitter, X, on Instagram, all those things. Links are all in the description, and we'll see you on the other side.